Welcome, everybody, to the VR Master League Halloween matchup. My name is Nightfire with two E's. I am joined by my co-caster, the Sky Joker. Sky, we got ourselves a interesting matchup here today. One that is as old as time, and one that I'm super hyped for. How are you feeling on this Halloween battle?
Oh man, still in recovery, but super excited to be here on this spooky afternoon for this amazing cast. Haven't been here on the deck in a little while, so definitely excited to be back.
Well, on the deck in multiple ways, right? As our first map looking like it also will certainly have a deck itself. Very curious to see how our first map does break out, but we're not quite there just yet. Silent Purge beginners, super excited to see this. As you see, I am dressed up in full garb for the Halloween matchup today. It is the first week of Season 12, and already we've had some fantastic games to tune into. This one is top teams in EU, though. Beginners, the previous champions of VRML several seasons past. Silent Purge, a team that has definitely faced against beginners multiple times. They're familiar with the threat that Silent Purge presents, and so I'm interested to see what we get in this matchup. You know, a lot of the beginners matchups always drive a lot of hype, and I'm sure a lot of people are interested to see what beginners are going to bring to the table here today. I mean, Sky, I'm not sure what to expect in the first matchup of the day. I don't know what Silent Purge have been practicing during that offseason.
Yeah, and not only are these teams possibly going to bring out some new things, the map itself has some new things. So it's definitely going to be interesting to kind of mix things up and, you know, come into the week one strong.
Yeah, and, you know, we can get into the bans and picks, so to speak. We have at least one ban coming in from Silent Purge. Unsure on the second there from beginners. Currently placeholdering it with Shipyard, although we're not sure what that ban is. And map one is going to be USS Quest, and so we are going to be on the deck here of that carrier for our first battle of the day. And like you said, there's been a few shifts here on this map, but I'm just super excited to see this one get played out here in Season 12, and really for the first map of the day, again, with these two teams.
Kind of doing a flyby here. Some lighting changes, some nice water animation.
Yeah, the water animation definitely being one of the more interesting changes. And, you know, I think all of these custom maps have had a few tweaks with a few barriers shifted or adjusted, made bigger. You look at Shipyard as an example. There's very few adjustments, but they are significant in the ones that have been made. You know, tiny shifts to the size of a cooling vent, you know, have made the entire map change. And so, yeah, it's great to see the updates get made to the map, and you can it's almost a bit of a texture overhaul, it feels like. You know, it looks just a little bit like a cleaner, sharper USS Quest than it did in the past. And I love to see the custom map makers putting in so much effort into making their maps and polishing them like they do.
Yeah, and it looks like they might be remaking the lobby.
Yeah, I do wonder if that means we'll also be changing our map location for map 1. It doesn't look like it.
There is another USS Quest lobby up.
Yeah, so I think we are.
It.
Yeah. Still don't know the ban here from beginners, but again, once we get that to you, we will relay that information your way. Either way, I'm just super hyped up for this matchup, and again, Quest is going to be a great spot to kick it off. Trying to sort out some technical difficulties here as we do try and get into this lobby and get ready for the action. But a big shout out to everyone that is tuning in and hanging out in the all of the spaces, Twitch, Facebook, venues, YouTube. We appreciate everyone stopping by to catch the action. I think we may have to cut to a brief intermission, Sky, unless you can chat it up about both of these squads. We have to sort out our technical issues here, and hopefully we can get in. So I think we are going to cut to a brief intermission, and we'll come right back with the start of Map 1. Don't go anywhere. The action will continue, and we return. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for patiently waiting. We are still holding on here for the start of this matchup between two of our top teams in the EU. But we figured we would hang out here, show off the Halloween garb. Sky Joker is putting on his best mime impression. You can see no lips are moving here whenever they talk. It's actually really quite good, Sky. Go ahead and give us a show.
Well, something I did want to kind of bring up here is, you know, we talked about Silent Purge and beginners having battled it out since the dawn of Onward and whatnot, the two being pretty old teams, and beginners normally coming out on top being a championship team.
Yeah.
However, the last time these two met, we casted them in Silent Purge actually came out on top.
Right.
So with that coming into play, it'll be interesting to see if beginners can kind of punch back at him.
Yeah, there's been an interesting shift in the top 10, really, even worldwide. You've seen a lot of new teams come in over the course of Season 11 in particular and really come out the gate super strong, very focused, dedicated, showing that they're going to be trying to put their best foot forward at the start of that season with their new team. And we saw Beginners, a team that has been historically at the top, lose a few rounds here and there. Like you said, losing to Silent Purge as well last time they faced off. And so I'm not sure what to expect Season 12. You know, I really don't. I'm not sure what our top 10 is even going to look like. I think it's going to be filled with new teams that historically have not been up there, and it's going to be really fun to watch the, you know, week 4 or 5 Diamond tier matchups. That's going to be just a great bit of back and forth. Already looking forward to the Button Cup. You know, there's just so many good games ahead of us in Season 12, and this is certainly one that I am happy to start I guess finish our season off with. This is the last cast of season, week 1, not the season, just starting the season, but the last cast of week 1, and it is going to be with 2 top tier teams. So we get to see what they're bringing to the table, Sky, and we also don't have to stall any longer as we are ready with both squads up. Silent Purge bringing Hoochie UK, Mano, Button UK, Don Patron, and Kilo, and Beginners bringing Dr. Killinger, Lonwick, Icy Wood, Paz, and Smoils. The regular roster you'd expect from both squads. And we are finally ready to get into the action. We have bought enough time for both squads to ready up and kick off map number 1 on USS Quest.
Nice early utility coming out here. A bit change in the rules as we're seeing.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for that utility.
Nice.
Yeah, it can come out as early as you can throw it. And so Killinger hucking that flash nade out there and instantly blinds that Button Don Patron push, allowing Killinger to get to this position behind the purple cargo crate, very far forward, and patiently waiting for both Mano and Don Patron to cross in front of their line of sight. And I wonder if any utility is going to come from Silent Purge before they make their push.
It was so interesting to watch how both of these teams aggressively push the center of the deck, and now both are putting on their own stronghold as Killinger manages to pick up a Mound No peeking out. Both teams just looking for those picks to weaken the other side. Kilo taking out Icy Woods going on a flank there, and now the center starts to aggro each other.
Oh, Button was going to push up on Killinger there, but a great counter flash from Lonwick denies Button that push. Lonwick dives back in, nearly getting tagged by Hoochie, and the center battle has gotten very close, but we do again have to keep our eyes split as there is a push coming down red lane. Paz and Kilo in a battle. Paz finds the kill there.
Interesting how much utility is just being traded back and forth, but neither team has fully aggressed and utilized it. But both teams are definitely very low.
Wow.
Oh, close.
Just barely goes past. Killinger trying to catch Hoochie. Hoochie finds those shots. The full force of this offense pushing through as Don Patron picks up another kill off the backside. Smoils able to defend, but the smoke is out here, and Hoochie is trying to wrap around deep. This could be a long flank that pays off if both Paz and Smoils aren't prepared for this sort of rotation.
Yeah, Smoils definitely needs to be aware that this could happen as the side defense was taken out, but Hoochie manages to catch him unaware. Paz now definitely knows which direction this attack is coming from. Into the 1v1 after some chaos down in the center deck. As you can see, Paz is trying to aggro to Hoochie, but he's also trying to play the dead man on objective here and make sure he doesn't get capped on. He doesn't want to fully push because I don't think he has a proper kill count with all those trades that were coming out.
I mean, both those smokes really doing so much for Hoochie. Paz losing a bit of vision with that smoke, having to rotate around. And then earlier on, that smoke denying Smoils' vision as Hoochie rotated all across the far edge. Just a really nice job of utilizing that utility, like you said. And, well, I guess we'll just see what Hoochie brings here off of this long flank. They're playing it patiently, and they have a lot of time left still. 2.5 on the clock, Sky, so they can work their way to the edge here, look for picks. Paz fortunate that they did move, or else they could be scooped up here with the rotation from Hoochie.
Yeah, Hoochie's definitely doing the smart thing here. That slow rotation, trying to kind of make Paz feel uncomfortable and make him get antsy and impatient and hopefully rotate out of whatever hole he's dug himself into. And that's what Hoochie's waiting for.
Wonder if there's like a route for capping here. I feel like Paz has the lanes covered in terms of a sneak cap coming through. I don't think Hoochie can get past Paz. And I think if Hoochie sees Paz, they're going to take the shots. They're not going to go for any sort of cap. And so, I don't know. I wonder, maybe if they do go crouch past these cement barriers, they could dodge Paz's detection here.
Camera 2, he has to cross that line right there. And unless he times it right as Paz is looking a different direction, it's going to be tough. They'll probably lock eyes here in just a moment as their lasers slowly sneak by.
Yep.
Oh!
The gun barrel of Hoochie peeks around the cement crate there, cement barrier, excuse me, and Paz finds the kill. But what a start to the series, Sky. I mean, right out the gate, we are into a 1v1, a near cap attempt as they got very close to the objective. And I mean, if this is what the series is going to be, then I am here for it.
100%. And you can just see how experienced both of these teams are as they were able to change the pace of the game on the fly from aggression to hold to aggression to hold to slow. And it's so seamlessly, almost orchestrated.
Seeing some shout outs in chat about the got the Halloween getup. You got to get in costume during Halloween. Again, Sky is giving us his best what is it? It's not mime, but the ventriloquist.
Like a
ventriloquist, that's what it is. You're giving us your best
Yes.
ventriloquist impression, and it is really quite good. So we're both of us are really coming to the table here with top tier costumes. But either way, thank you guys for the shout outs, and shout out to everybody tuning in here today. Again, if you're shopping in across all of the different channels, we appreciate you. If you don't know, you can check this game out right now in Horizon venues. It's a great place to tune in and catch games in VR. You can watch these matchups with other people on a giant screen. Shout out to everyone that is tuning in and hanging out, catching the games there. We'll pop back into the action for round number 2. See what Silent Purge do on defense as they nearly took an offensive round from the likes of beginners. What will they put up here? Will it be an aggressive front or a passive one? I'm curious.
Well, definitely a utility front as the flashbangs get traded. Beginners opting to be a little bit more aggressive on them. And Don Patron
Way
picks
more
up
aggressive.
Long Wick.
Way more aggressive.
A new pickup. Oh,
Paz
man,
is
they
on
are getting
objective.
on objective.
Silent Purge not ready for this pace from beginners, and they're trying to crash back. Paz is there. Smoils is swinging around. Shots coming in from the backside from Icy Woods. And Don has to push. What a fantastic flash grenade from Don. On the backside, Woods finds another, and we're into another 1v1.
Another 1v1.
Oh my goodness, beginners. Wow.
Oh.
Did you blink, Sky? Because you might have missed that round.
A blink and a half, man. I'm on the other side of the deck, and then they're on objective.
I mean, you know, we're so used to the ways of beginners. I just think that was the last thing I expected to see out of them, that level of aggression, but it nearly pays off. It got them right into the wheelhouse of the objective. I think they could have, I mean, I don't know who it was that was against that cement barrier there, but they very well could have capped. They had time. It's just the chaos there, and that flash saved the game. I mean, that flash up and over caught both Smoils and the one on objective.
So it looked like once they had objective control, it was Paz who was right on top of it next to that cement barricade. It seemed like he was waiting for the crash and picked up 2 in that attempt, and then he was going for the cap right as the flashbang came out.
Insane. I mean, wow.
I'm over here thinking I have enough time to talk about beginners'
Yep.
new roster, and beginners is just like, no.
Talk about our new play style. How about that?
Yeah, for real.
I mean, geez, that it
Get
nearly
the new guy.
I mean, really, I think it almost caught. It worked, right? It caught Silent Purge off guard. Silent Purge just did a great job of reacting. I think one thing to really take from that response from them is how quickly they all shifted back to objective, how quickly they crashed back. There was no lingering. As soon as they lost their 2, instantly they were covering in order to prevent that cat from coming through.
Yeah, it was very good on them. They definitely were not in the places they wanted to be when that happened.
No. They had to retake, really, which you don't see
and yet
very
they
often
still
enough.
came out on top.
More of those quick flashes coming in from the beginner's defense, trying to stall any advances up through the center. I don't think it caught anybody. And this is an interesting angle taken up here by Don, trying to peek through the gap in the crates to ID anybody.
Still in the center, but this time a bit more further
Both of these
down
teams
their,
really
spawn.
just trying to feel each other out round after round to see where they can gain their upper edge. And if you notice, Silent Purge, while they're doing the same thing they did the previous round, they're doing it a little bit further back. So they're actually giving beginners a little bit more room to kind of over push. Whether or not beginners will do that, though, and, you know, take the rope and hang themselves, we'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah, we will indeed. Silent Purge. What a spooky reference. Take the rope and I mean, really on the mark for Halloween. But Silent Purge is definitely going to be, like you said, taking their time. And I almost want to say that those flashes do a lot. You know, it seems to be throwing a bit of a pause in the initial swing up through the center here from Silent Purge. But again, this could just be the Silent Purge timing. They could be waiting a few minutes here to allow for this setup to come through. A lot of utility getting detonated there. C4 and a nade both going off. I almost wonder if the C4 got detonated while the nade was in the air. I don't know what happened there. Or vice versa. But either way, utility gone here on the corner. Killinger seemingly reacting off of these movements, but ends up missing that cross. And Malno is dialed in here to Killinger's position in a trade.
Oh. And shots come out. I see Woods on the long angle onto the ramp, taking down Gucci. And now the offense slowly getting picked apart as they try to punch through that defense. Can't find a weak point.
No, they cannot. Kilo, the last attacker on red lane. More utility coming out towards them. That's a good flash from Paz.
Ooh.
Paz is going to apply the pressure off that, or at the very least push into a different position and try and catch Kilo off angle.
Yeah, Kilo definitely not prepared. Oh, as I say that, though, he actually looks for him. Oh,
Spots the elbow
so
there.
close.
What a great...
Nice smoke.
Yeah, beautifully placed. 1v5, though, probably the hardest task up against the likes of beginners. Kilo doing well to at least put some time on the clock here and stall his death. It seems like they are going to rotate around to the middle entryway here, and
Oh, that's a new one.
it is indeed. We were talking about additions to the map. That certainly is one of them. Kilo uses it, gets up through the center, finds some shots towards Lon Wick, but can't connect, and Lon is able to rotate out. Killinger's here, ready to refrag.
Ooh.
Back, east side of middle.
Beginners
and
slowly applying more pressure as they push up, knowing there's only one left. They're just trying to box him in at this point.
And I think this is the good
do you-
play. Kilo's managed to
this
get
is
over to
what
this
Kilo
side,
needs to do.
duck down into this lane here. And he's really got a fantastic head peek that they can utilize to get rid of Killinger. No, they don't turn the gun. The barrel
Oh,
not clearing the ledge there. Smoils flies off the edge to get the kill. Beginners put up a defensive round, and I wonder if we are going to trade defensive rounds here at this rate. It certainly seems like it, and I don't know, though. Silent Purge's got to be ready for whatever beginners are going to bring to the table for this next round. I'm already thinking about their offensive style and how it's potentially going to be changing. And I'm just on the desk. I mean, imagine the impact it has for the folks that are playing down there. You have to really analyze what is beginners going to do here.
Yeah, you definitely need a change in mentality here if you're the home team, having picked this map, going in, needing to take a Marsoc round. You really got to figure out, okay, what do we need to do here that's going to avoid just trading these Volk rounds? How can we change up our offense? We tried this sudden aggression, and it didn't work.
Right.
It almost worked, but not quite. Do we try it again?
Certainly is a big question, and I mean, they know how close they got, you know? I mean, they were on objective, so they know it was nearly successful. I would think they would try and bring something out here like that. The problem is with this objective, though, it is a bit tougher to fly at, you know, and you can't really take control of one side or the other because of the objective being in the middle of that back end, and so I do wonder if maybe a more classic beginner style will pay off here on the offense, being patient, trying to go for those picks, or, you know, if they'll go for that same sort of aggressive rollout. Find out what Silent Purge are planning as we dive into round number 3 of map 1. 4. Do the math. You do the math.
That's my thinking. We're letting our guys to die there.
Oh my gosh. It was like the 4th of July. The fireworks exploding in the air. So many flashes coming in out the gate here to shut down any advanced defense through the center. It's really allowed them to get full control here of the center side, but they have, while they've gotten the middle, they haven't gotten the edges. Kilo finds one, another goes down from Hoochie. Smoils tries to come up through the center, and a very different result there, Sky. A wildly different result than the last attempted quick push from beginners.
And it was so interesting, too, because Silent Purge, the bulk of the defense was behind the objective, despite that heavy aggression onto it.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's both teams really reacting to these shifts in the rules. Those utility nades can come out much sooner, so be ready for it. You know, you're seeing that that defense didn't just charge to the center. They played patiently back, waiting for the utility to come, worked the edges, and really just allowed beginners to push into their U-shaped trap of a defense. Got them a ton of kills early, and yeah, none of those flashes really, I don't think any of those flashes connected. Maybe one on the edge, as we did see a late pop-up kill there, but still, I'd love to see the aggression, but a great counter defense too there from Silent Purge, just to play it a bit more passively. And again, reading the beginner's style, saying, okay, beginners are trying something new here with this quick pace. Let's maybe hold back just a touch.
And something interesting is how much more calculated their defense is compared to their offense. It's almost like beginners know, okay, we just have to keep winning our defense and we'll take the map. So we can treat our offense a little bit more chaotically, fun, and then just lock it down on the defense. So they're really putting a lot of trust in their defense here.
Yeah, they certainly are. They have that defensing start, too. So like you said, if they take the defensive rounds, they'll end up winning the map. That is the ultimate end goal here. I see Woods pushing up early. Yeah, the real aggression we're going to have is on the edge there.
Camera 2, they're just so close to each other. Shots ring out on the other side. Just some pre-fire, not quite finding anybody. Icy Woods with a counter flash, but the trade with Killinger and Kilo finally comes out. Kilo's still resable, though.
Yeah, and Mano's going to drop back to get that res. Don, oh my gosh. As Woods drops, Don peaks. Lonwick drops off the angle. It's just classic Onward in effect here. That flash, I think, catches Woods fully.
Hold on, camera 2. Hoochie's danger close, trying to find pause. Comes out on top on the engagement. Oh, it's getting close. Button UK coming up for the backup.
Big control of the side. Woods has to worry about multiple angles now. Lonwick and Woods trying to get rid of this edge defense, and a great nade, and Lonwick swings around off the flash. Button catches Woods, so now they have control of the opposite edge. Lonwick really losing on objective control. A great nade comes right through the center. Fantastic toss, catches nobody. Hoochie continues to swing wide, looking for any sort of rotating defense, and he finds that Smoils goes down. A team kill. A rare one at that coming through from beginners. But Silent Purge take a Marsoc round. We are not trading Volk rounds. The plan of investing in Volk rounds seems to be at risk here, Sky.
Yeah, what a crazy change of events there. The defense having to deal with so many angles. A Silent Purge, very coordinated on that attack, managed to come in multiple angles at once. Lonwick doing a really good job at shutting down one of those pushes, but it just quite wasn't enough. And then the unfortunate team kill comes in from Smoils. I guess just heat of the moment, heat of the battle. Multiple angles are pushing you. Sometimes you slip up.
Yeah, sometimes you do, and now I wonder what we see on attack. Yeah, I truly do, because beginners, like you said, have seemed to throw their offensive rounds to the wind a bit. Not necessarily throwing them away, but just trying some new, riskier strats. And, you know, for this objective, that risky strat really, it is viable to play fast on this OBJ. A lot of utility thrown, just like they have been playing, I think could work out. So I almost wonder if maybe it's worth just doubling down. It's of course a risk though, because they could lose the map here. Map point in the hands of Silent Purge, and again, they're on that defensive, I don't know, advantage is the right word anymore, but they are on defense here for what could be that map point.
Yeah, this objective is just so rough with how far away the defense spawn and how open it is, how much damage the offense can do.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking from personal experience, Mayhem versus Ember, Cuoco running right up there and getting the cap on like it was nothing. It's just so dangerous for this objective.
Yep. And we go back into the action. Round number 6 underway here. Beginners with their back against the wall go on the offense. And just looking at the overhead, it seems like a heavy investment into the red lane, something you do not see typically.
Very heavy. Opposite side of the objective here. You gotta wonder if they're gonna push here, gain that control, and then rotate a couple back down the center, or if they're just gonna heavy aggress that once they get the advantage.
Yeah, and it seems like for now, beginners have fallen back on the standard beginner style. A bit more patient, a bit more reserved, trying to hunt for these early picks. Seeing if Silent Purge are going to swing out on any rotations, get aggressive on defense, and really just methodically working their way up this red lane, clearing every angle. It's not going to be until Pause gets through that crate that Kilo may find an opportunity to get involved, but even then, Pause can stay ducked and actually under Kilo's line of sight.
Lots of comms coming out, making sure the whole team is aware of what they're doing, when they're doing it. Communication key in this sort of play style. Utility getting traded, not quite doing anything to either side. Oh. Would have been a good nade for anybody waiting in ambush there.
Yeah, it really would have.
Fortunately, Kilo's all the way in the rear there. Another grenade coming out.
Ooh.
Oh, the mortar not quite far enough.
That shot put style of throwing there coming in from Killinger, really successful. Nearly gets down to Kilo, and Pause pops up from the crouch, finding the first shots from Kilo there. I still don't think Kilo has any idea that there's so many set up on this side, but there's a lack of information that Silent Purge are getting as well, right? There's really no action up through the middle, so that's got to be an indicator that they're somewhere else.
I see Woods just putting shots down range in the center to kind of make sure Silent Purge doesn't put all their attention into red lane, as Pause manages to shut down the only defender over there. Mao No making that rotation to reinforce the position.
Hoochie also has a late angle on that side as well, so they do have coverage still, even though, like you said, Kilo is down from point. They still have covers. The trouble is, though, is that it does allow beginners that much closer to your objective, right? All they have to do now is swing this corner and push to the other side of the aircraft carrier, and I say all they have to do, and as if it's easy, but it certainly is not. Flashes up and over. I don't think those catch Malno. And here comes the press. The smoke's on objective. 1 kill up through the center. Killinger continues to push. Button catches another. Killinger goes down to Mano's late position. Patiently waiting, and Mano swings for 2. Lon wake up through the center. Not finding much off of those shots through the edge, but now they do. Button goes down. Hoochie still alive on the edge. We're into a 1v2. This series continues to be close as Malno pushes on to Lonwick, and they trade. Silent Purge have 1 left alive, and they take map number 1. Their map pick from the hands of beginners, 4-2.
Wow, Hoochie just staying alive down there on the side of the aircraft carrier as all the action takes place on the other side. Malno with a great position, just hiding, waiting for the right time to poke up beginners. Definitely very unprepared for such a far back position.
Yeah, they certainly were. They did not seem to be ready for that style of defense, and just a great job overall from both squads to put up a fantastic battle on USS Quest. A fun one to tune into because it's a custom map, and our next map, although it feels like a custom map, is official. You know, it is a DPI handcrafted one, just one that we haven't seen played in the VRML yet. Abandoned here is where we'll be headed to map number 2. Out of all the games I've cast, I haven't seen it played, and again, super stoked to see Abandoned get brought out here for map number 2. Beginners choosing it. What do you think, Sky?
Oh man, I must admit, when I first looked at Abandoned and I first got boots on the ground, I did not like it. It felt kind of a clutter. It felt too linear. It didn't feel good. But after putting some rounds in, playing it out, and really trying all the avenues of approaches, I've actually come to enjoy it. There are some definitely very powerful positions that need to be addressed when you're playing, like the 3-story on the west side, a couple of the windows in the apartment buildings, and there's definitely already plenty of meta rising up in this map. But overall, it's still a new map. Things are still being discovered, and I don't know, I can't wait to see it played out and to see a veteran team like Beginners confident enough to pick it. Is definitely going to be interesting to see what they have up their sleeve.
Yeah, it's I don't think one I've tuned into since the Charity Cup that we held what feels like forever ago, but I think that's the last time that I caught some good action on Abandoned, and I'm just looking forward to what the meta is for both of these teams, what kind of plays they have developed for Abandoned. Clearly, Beginners feeling comfortable on this map as they do pick it. And so I wonder if Silent Purge have put in that equal amount of research and investment into really honing in different strats on this map like Beginners have, I presume. And maybe Beginners haven't either, but you know, for their map pick, you would think that it's at least a place they're comfortable on. And I almost wonder, maybe it's the range that this map does lend itself to. You know, certain objectives like the one we're going to be headed to definitely have some long range angles that you can be picking up, that you can be hunting for early picks. They love to get those early picks right out of spawn, something Beginners always have done. And so, you know, what are we going to get here for Abandoned from both squads? Looking at the rosters, we do have a sub coming in for Beginners, 24 Gray getting brought in. Something I don't think I've seen Beginners do, at least very often, where they will bring in a specific player on their roster. Typically, they stick with their tried and true 5, but I like to see a little bit of diversity here in what the Beginners are doing on both strats and in their active rosters, and maybe that's what they need for this Abandoned map. Looking over at Silent Purge, no subs coming through. Hoochie, Malno, Button, Don, and Kilo all still squaring away. And Sky, we should be getting into map number 2 shortly here as both teams are in lobby. And maybe just strategizing for his first round. I gotta wonder what the talk is like inside the tent, but we don't gotta wonder no more. We can actually hear it as round 1 is about to begin. Let's dive into the action. Pop over. Oh, I just got faked out. We didn't have everyone ready on beginners. But we can take a look at the objective, Sky, and like I said, definitely one that you can catch some long angles out early if you're fortunate. If you go for those kind of aggressive peaks, wonder what the kits are going to be like. Are we going to see 2 times, 4 times, maybe even a 12 times come through, depending if they can get control of that 3-story. Like you said, there's definitely some long-range sniping to be done.
Yeah, and this objective is definitely going to lean towards that beginner style, as they can get on the flanks of the beach and the tunnel, or the rock tunnel on the more eastern side of the map, and then just get some nice flanks going on, surround the objective, and move in. It's going to be tough for Silent Purge to deal with so many angles, both close and long.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, maybe you just set up with a defensive style that just focuses on the tight angles. That, of course, has its risks, especially against a team like beginners. You don't want to allow them to all get close to objective, because that's what they excel on as a strategy in terms of crashing in on an objective at the same time. And so, you know, you do see some somewhat early angles taken up, but yeah, everyone is seemingly reserved. Don tucked in. Hoochie's probably the most risky there, looking for that angle, just turning that gun to clear the distance to clear that rock, and they have a line right down to Lonwick if they decide to peek out here.
See another 1-4 split out of beginners. Icy Woods going for that long peak up in the 3-story, while the other 4 are just kind of hiding out here, waiting for a good timed push. I gotta wonder if they're gonna split up 2-2, or if they're all gonna take this tunnel. That'd be a pretty funneled position, so I don't think they're all gonna go, but we'll see.
We are in that poking and prodding phase, just sort of watching Icy Woods up here, looking for any of those long angles. Like you said, the 3-story is such a commanding position to take, but Silent Purge don't seem to be exposing themselves. You can see Hoochie using a very small tree stump, it seems, to deny that vision from any peaks down that lane. They're positioning very intentional and precise. If they were anywhere else truly defending from this angle, Woods would see it, but Hoochie is just barely denying the vision there, and I wonder if Hoochie is going to take a little gander over there at those shots that come in from Woods. It is a risk to take, and it doesn't seem like they're going to risk it. Again, really just letting beginners push to them, while they do have forward angles, not overcommitting to them.
It's just amazing how disciplined beginners is and how slow they can play. Despite this being such a large map, they haven't moved like more than 50, 100 feet from spawn. I mean, other than Icy Woods, of course. But the bulk of their attack is still...
Yeah, and, you know, it has its purpose, though. I think they are expecting almost a bit of an aggressive defensive swing through this tunnel, and that's what they're really waiting for. While Woods tries to force some peaks, tries to get some folks to look for the shots onto them, they are just waiting on this tunnel side. And it almost seems like Silent Purge are also aware of the danger of the tunnel, because they have committed 3 to this tunnel side. And as I say that, Mauno actually rotating off, and that could be bad news as the flashes come in. Kilo is peeking here.
Dangerous, though. Kilo has the high ground right on this hill as he peeks over, looking for the shot. Killinger with the utility coming out. Nade right onto Kilo, and it gets him just perfect. And Mauno quickly rotating out. Don Patron coming around the corner, try and back this up. A nice flashbang.
No,
manages to catch Killinger on the swing.
And Smoils on a trade on the corner. A big pickup. Mauno can get the res here. Lonwick and Gray don't have support from the edge, so their push up the center could get disrupted here. They do have callouts, which is fortunate, and Lonwick tucks in for a brief moment as they do continue their push, really committing to the aggression. Button goes down with some good shots from Lon. Mauno's on the hunt here up top, but super exposed. They go down.
Ooh.
Kilo still hasn't peaked up. Lonwick with a double, and Silent Purge getting picked apart. Hoochie now looking for where the heck this shooter is. They're going to push forward, and Lonwick trades. We're into a 1v2. Kilo all alone has to panic and defend this objective with only 2 minutes left.
Kilo was in the perfect position to take down Lonwick, or at least slow down that attack for his other teammates. And he was just so tunnel visioned. And he didn't even confirm Smoils. Could have been a game changer, but now he's all alone against 3 beginners with Icy Woods making his approach. 90 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, that res is going to come through, and that's when things are going to get bad. Kilo is in a position where they are pretty well covered. I mean, it's going to be probably a trade that ends up rooting out Kilo, which will work for beginners because they have 3 left, and so it's really just going to come down to timing, and I can't imagine beginners are going to run out of time here. They're very conscious of how much time is left on the clock, and they use it well, and so with a minute left, they're going to have to start moving in.
Smokes near objective, gonna force Kilo out of its hole to peak. And the rotation's coming through like a pack of wolves. 30-second beep about to come out.
Encircling, but Woods is on still a bit of a rotation. Gray has to push up here. Smoils seems the farthest away, but again, a good sprint straight to OBJ will get them there in time. 20 seconds left. It's not a lot of time.
Here it comes. Icy Woods going to be the first to contest.
Smoke's there. They're going for
He's
a
going for the
cap.
cap.
Woods is, but no, the shots from the backside to defend. They were trying to get that cap off. They had the smoke there. But either way, they take the Marsoc round. A great 3-man push on objective susses out the final defender, and well, beginners are looking to bounce back with a map of their own. Obviously their map pick as they go up 1-0.
Yeah, an interesting little catch of comms there at the end. I think they were talking about how they didn't have a good final enemy count, so I think that kind of was a testament to how slow they were playing despite only having so much time left. They were expecting more defenders to deal with, and that probably is due to the trades that came out. Now we're gonna get to see how beginners opt to try and defend this. Do they take a similar off meta approach? Do they push out a little bit further? Do they be a little bit more constrained?
Yeah, they're going to invest so many resources in that tunnel defense. What's the off? You know, it's a lot of question marks up with Abandoned here being its first debut in the VRML, at least for the regular season. And so, yeah, it's got me excited. And really, I don't know what to expect after a solid win there from Silent Purge on USS Quest. I mean, a 4-2 takeaway. They played very well there. And, you know, beginners definitely doing a good job to bounce back. They do not go down easy ever, and they never make a series an easy W for any team. Not going to be the case here as well, as Silent Purge are down 1-0, have to defend, or excuse me, have to attack now as beginners manage to secure that Marsoc round. It is a lot of momentum into the hands of beginners, and definitely a big round here for Silent Purge if they want to regain a little bit of that energy.
Weird spawn here, but a much more aggressive approach as Button UK manages to take out the newly rostered 24 Gray. Another pickup onto Icy Woods. That's 3 down on the defense and still 5 up on the offense. That's going to turn the tables quite a bit here as beginners kind of fester around to regain their control.
On the smoke by the helicopter, possibly.
Yeah, and that is rough. They tried to send out those offensive smokes. Malno trades with Lonwick. But they tried to put offensive smokes up top so that they could shift into position, and it just seemed like Silent Purge were ready for it. The exact same attack style. Smoils comes up quickly, gets rid of that res. They're going to go for Lonwick themselves. Button is here, but can't see Smoils, and Lonwick pops up. Is there a double in store for Button? No, there's not. There is two that go down as Kilo finds the refrag up over the top, and Killinger is set up in the same position Kilo was, a 1v3.
How the turns have tabled here. Oh, Hoochie manages to tag Killinger. Oh, a nice answer back.
Very nice. And they're hunting for Kilo, too. Nearly had an angle there onto Kilo. Killinger's aggressive solo defensive style has paid off and culled at least the advantage down a touch. We'll see if it keeps paying off, as Don not really anywhere near a supporting position, and I don't know if they have an accurate kill count, because if they did, I'm assuming Don and Kilo would try and sync up here.
Killinger just frantically checking all the angles where he knows the approach was coming from. They're right next to each other. Killinger skylights just a little bit, enough for Kilo to catch him moving around.
Yeah, this is what you have to do if you're the lone defender. You really have to play a bit more panicked like this, where you're not able to sit in one particular spot, cover one lane. You have to watch every single angle. And it does end up exposing yourself to potential picks. Getting so close to Kilo here on this rotation. Still not spotting them down on that ledge there, just barely going over their head. Kilo almost too far forward, but seemingly just far forward enough. They checked their tablet, trying to figure out where Don is, and it seems like a little bit of Morse code clicked in there to Don so that they know what the potential plan is as Kilo slowly inches their way up the rock.
It's amazing how slow Don Petron has been making his approach. They definitely are not aware that Killinger's the last one up once again. Interesting place to decide to stay.
It's got really good coverage of where they're pushing from. It's a risky place to take because you're exposing yourself to that west rotation, but Killinger confident that nothing's coming in from the west half of how much movement they've been doing and exposing themselves to that west side and not being picked off. I think they're doing some deductive reasoning, if you will, in their movements. And this push might find Kilo. Oh, no, they don't commit to that swing around the rock. And Kilo gets the kill. I think if Killinger had full scent, they would have had the back of Kilo there. But in the chaos, they rotate back around, and Silent Purge take a Marsoc round themselves. A big Marsoc round at that, because definitely could have been a moment where, wrong score line there, where beginners push up 2-0, and it's the last thing that Silent Purge would want, to lose all the momentum they have off of that first map victory. But they do manage to come back, and we now shift to an objective at the center of Abandoned, which, again, completely, I mean, Abandoned's so interesting in that all these objective placements, they really, whether it's in the center of the map and even on the east or west in the center, it just impacts so severely how you approach. And obviously, I suppose any shift in objective does, but Abandoned, because it's such a large map and has objectives sprawled out across the entirety of it, it's just, you just get such a great variety. It kind of almost has a quarantine vibe in the sense that you have these long-range angles, but also a lot of tight quarters, close quarters battles that do unfold, like we just saw there at that last round. And so, super fun map to tune into. Was at the Charity Cup, and so far has been with both of these two teams taking the Marsoc round. Obviously, we're just at the start of the series, though, Sky. I mean, man, all of these maps have been so fun to tune. All of these rounds have been so fun to tune into so far.
100%. And something of interest here, a lot of these objectives that we're seeing are objectives that force the defense to be almost a distance away from the objective. I mean, they have to. There's no good spot on the objective to sit, so you have to be far away looking back, and that really affects how you choose to attack and defend it, because you can't be right on top of it.
Straight up to the left here.
Silent Purge flying up the defense, and I imagine Beginner is going to be on the hunt for any early angles, and you do see it right there. Early shots from Beginners, a trademark style from them, as they always have been good at finding those early angles out of spawn to get these very early kills and early advantages, but nothing connecting here, and Silent Purge all just setting up to their standard positions. Lonwick, the one trying to find out any sort of picks, and if anything, has gotten a lot of information relayed on where Silent Purge are setting up on defense. He's seen 2 cross to the left, he's seen 1 or 2 in garage. So they have a pretty good understanding, and that is seemingly allowing Beginners to push comfortably. Killinger all the way up here, nearly on objective at this point, really far forward as they do try and work their way up.
The difficulty here is going to be weeding out Hoochie out of that shack. Oh, as I say that, though, he chooses to rotate out. I think he heard Killinger make a call out, and now he's on a hunt.
Oh, yeah, they very well could slowly work their way around the edges here. Maybe even stand up and catch Schmoyles trying to swing around the high part of that hill, but they're going to stay
He has a
crouched.
flashbang and a frag. He pops a flashbang airburst over this rock. It would be so powerful, but he's going to push because he hears the radio clouds, but he misses. Oh, a trade in the end.
Could have been
still on this angle.
So much more there for Hoochie, but they tagged the shoulder of Killinger, and then Killinger tucked in instantly. Quick peeks on the corner, and the trade comes through. Unfortunate for Silent Purge, but Beginners do shut down a aggressive swing, and we're into a 4v4. We got to pop over to the other side of the map there, because there is 24 gray. They're clear on the other side, kind of setting up the pinch, really. Maybe able to find a couple of targets inside the warehouse if Melno and Kilo aren't too careful.
As I said, in almost every objective, that 3-story building is just so powerful. You can check so many different spots and angles and put so much pressure.
Kilo is fortunate enough that they are not exposing themselves to that 3-story. And again, I think a lot of the defensive angles positioned so that if anyone does take up that 3-story, that they don't get punished for it. And the only, I guess, real risk is Don Patron up in that 2-story window. I think there could be an angle that Gray could find, but
You can get shot from apartments.
Beginners are definitely prioritizing this rock tunnel as Lonwick went on a rotation all the way to Smoyles to back him up on this
I don't know if I
approach.
got the guy or he just fucking dropped.
Don kills one, and it almost seemed like Smoyles was saying you can get shot from that building. Maybe confirming a question, should I rotate? And the answer definitely was no, don't rotate, because that resulted in their death. Beginners down to 3.
Did you kill the guy in the south tank? No?
And Button still here over in the east, deep in the east, really, just kind of waiting for this push to come through up over the hill.
Yeah, Button's been spider crawling all the way from the apartments to where he's at now very, very slowly, which is interesting because if Smoyles had been any more aggressive, he would have been long past Button before he got to this point.
Patient style of Beginners, though, really is paying off here. To not be pushing forward here.
Yeah, they're definitely waiting for 24 Gray to get into a better position before they do anything from this angle. Mo's grabbing some utility, a frag and a flash available from Hoochie as well. Mo comes out a great
Oh. Nearly has the kills there. Button pops up, doesn't find much. Gray making their swing in from the north. While all this attention gets
so much
drawn.
utility.
Yeah, a lot of nades getting thrown. But unfortunate that they
Oh.
moved back off that position.
Don Patron manages to back him up and picks up Lonwick from that window. Now 2v4. 24 Gray still not in a great position to do anything.
They could cap, no? I mean, Malno maybe has an eye on, but I think maybe there's a route here for Gray to do some damage.
Oh, if those smokes had been centered on that tank depot in the center, that would have been so much stronger. But it's forcing Don Patron to come out here and check.
30 seconds now, though. Beginners have to fly in. They have to crash to objective. Gray is going to try and swing behind. Finds Kilo looking for Malno as Malno picks up Smoils. Gray has one off the back. One left alive up to Don, and Don finds the kill. A near Marsoc round from Beginners there. A fantastic swing in from Gray. Doesn't cut the mustard, so to speak, and Silent Purge snag a round just barely. I mean, how many 1v1s have we had here today, Sky? It feels like maybe every round, but like 2 of them have been 1v1s.
So many, and again, just goes to show the experience both of these teams have, not only playing each other, but playing in general. They know the strats, they know how to work together, they know how to be a team, and despite these 2 newly rostered players on Beginners being new, they are syncing just so well with the group.
Yeah, absolutely. Really nice to see Gray playing such a big role there in that last round. Definitely a good rotation there, good communication from everyone around. And I mean, Beginners have gotten so close to so many rounds, it feels like they've definitely been putting in seemingly more efforts to go for those caps than they have in past seasons. And that aggressive playstyle from Beginners has been developing over the course, really, of several seasons. So you just love to see it continue to grow as a style that they will utilize. And it really just makes Beginners a diverse threat as a team. They have the methodical play style that they can lean on, but also that quick pace, fast action that we saw on the likes of Quest and that we have seen, again, develop over the course of seasons on the likes of Cargo. Either way, we'll see what Beginners throw up on defense. They're down 2-1. The series on the line if Silent Purge can take a cap here. And Beginners definitely don't want to kick off Season 12 with a loss on the board, so I imagine they're going to be coming at this one locked in and focused here.
And again, the difference, Silent Purge aggressing pretty heavily into the center here. Hoochie managing to find Killinger on a rotation. And again, we're off to a weakened Beginners early off.
Dawn, a nice angle on the stairs. Smoils comes flying up over the top. Doesn't find Dawn. Button is on the back to reinforce. And a drop shot from Dawn almost catches Smoils swinging on the rotation. Smoils comes popping through the window and does finally get done. And Smoils here doing some great work defending a attempted secure of this 3-story. If they get it, it would have been terrible news for the likes of Beginners, especially now that they're down 4-3. And Smoils doesn't seem like they're going to continue to press this. Button is still here, though.
It was so interesting to watch that dance routine as they both try and peek unexpected angles instead of the same angle and rotate around each other. It's just such high-level thinking to do right in the moment.
And really takes familiarity with the space. Smoils utilizing their movement around this area to get that kill. And, well, I wonder if Button is going to be ready for the outside flank. I wonder if they even hear this. It doesn't seem like they're keyed into it. Smoils is going to catch that kill, evens the odds. Down 3-3, and now Smoils can drop all the way back, comfortably get back into the warehouse and defend the objective because nothing else has happened. Silent Purge have just been positioning themselves, or at least seemingly looking for picks up through the center here. Malno still working their way up through the tunnel, and we're into a 3v3.
Things have kind of slowed down here as both teams are just trying to get a foothold. Silent Purge holding back, waiting to see who's going to rotate when, trying to gain some more information before they make their push. And Beginners just trying to make sure they have all the angles locked tight.
I mean, Gray nearly has line of sight here down to Kilo, but again, just barely missing the vision there. Woods could be exposing themselves to a potential threat there if Kilo IDs one in the window.
I'd almost want to send Hoochie out into the west and get him on the north side and have a triangle approach.
But they've lost that. That's what they were going to do with the two on the edge, but they lost that now. And so I think there's some hesitancy coming in to work themselves over to that side. If Hoochie commits to this push up, they are going to run into a lot more issues, though, as they have Gray and Woods and windows.
Yeah, 24 Gray, almost watching Smoyle's back right now. Uchi well aware of the possibility of exposing himself, now checking it. Gonna find the head of Gray, but can't quite nail the shot.
Oh, Hoochie spots him. Gray has to reload there. Utility comes up and over. It's a great nade toss. Gray goes down. Woods catches the nade.
Malno making the aggressive push now.
Revive comes through. Woods and Smoyles crashing back on objective, and that's not allowed. Woods catches a whole heap of rounds and tucks back in. Smoyles gets rid of the slow crawl from Malno and shuts down what was a cap attempt. And I wonder if Woods is going to be able to rotate around and get the res onto Gray. No, they're not, as Hoochie gets rid of that. Smoyles on an interesting rotation. This could find two if they play it right.
Yeah, this is going to be a very unexpected flank. Kilo might trade with him, though, as they come around the corner, and it does come out to trade. Hoochie, once again, the lone survivor, giving them their point.
And just a great read there from Kilo to just be conscious enough to take a gander at the back. I don't think he was earnestly checking, you know, just seeing if anything was happening back there, and the timing is just classic Onward timing. It syncs up right as they look. Smoyles peaks. We end up in a trade, and one's left alive on the likes of Silent Purge. Again, coming down to one lone survivor in this series. Absolutely insane to see such a good back and forth here on this map, but it is what we're getting. And we don't shift too much in terms of location, but we do move just a bit into that center building. I think we're going to see a bit of a similar round here, a bit of a similar attack style, trying to get control of the edges, trying to get control of that 3-story and the 2-story windows. So you have angles into the warehouse, and I imagine that defense will set up accordingly as well to try and prevent those entries. But, of course, you also have to watch routes up through the center. There's just so much with this map and so many different angles that they can approach from. Which ones do you end up prioritizing and holding? Maybe a tight warehouse defense is the route to go with something like this. I don't know.
Yeah, and the danger here, as you kind of alluded to, giving the enemy apartments, the 3-story, and then the 2 approaches close. I mean, they're just the angles that can be covered there, and then on camera 2, that final approach right onto objective from outside. You don't even have to expose yourself. You could drop on the boxes and just cap. So you have to be very careful with that approach in particular.
Alright, I'm going to...
Back into the action we go. Silent Purge up 3-1 on the defense. Beginners setting up for the attack. A opposite side spawn here from what they had last time, and I wonder if they're going to end up rotating back around to that tunnel. It does kind of seem like they're investing in a swing to the other side here, and so that tunnel entry going to be the seemingly preferred route.
in the defense here, treating it almost like the storage room on Snow Peak with
that's what I was
heavy
thinking.
team on the inside, hiding around, looking a little out, but mostly back in, and then one person on the outside kind of providing a guerrilla warfare type of, I would say, distraction or stall, while the main defense holds tight.
The real first test is going to, of course, be the one defender they have on the edge. Don Patron could be a threat down into this rotation, depending on how wide beginners go. Don may be able to get a bit of an angle, a tight one through the window down to this lane. But currently, no one really watching. And like you said, everyone just guarding the objective building, really waiting for beginners to push in. It's a risky strat to take. Like I said, against a team like beginners, they're a team that crashes on objectives very well as a squad. And I suppose Silent Purge have done pretty well to defend against that kind of crash so far, right? I mean, we look at the quick pushes on USS Quest. They did a good job denying that aggression. And so maybe they're just feeling confident in their teamwork and syncing up, and they're going to allow beginners to come to them. That certainly seems to be the case, and so probably not going to be much action for at least another 2 minutes. Don isn't even watching that side as they do take up angles. Oh, there's finally a peek down the tunnel, and I still don't think they can see anybody through those windows.
Yeah, it's really going to be a matter of, while Don Patron is making all these rotations, does he accidentally expose himself to a window he didn't intend to expose himself to right as somebody's watching it? That's the tough part about these apartments. You have to really understand where you can walk when.
Trying to find the fifth, but they are positioned way in the back as a bit of an overwatch up through the center there, watching over the tops of Killinger and Gray.
Spotting at apartment windows.
Beginners just nicely and methodically clearing this out as they prepare
where do
the
you want it?
adrenaline rush for the final moments of the round.
Where do you want the smoke?
Dillinger just out in the middle of the road, but fully aware of what he is and is not exposed to with that terrain.
Smoke comes out to help Killinger out just a little bit. Although it seems like it's a touch too late. Lonwick and Woods will use it. Don finally comes alive there. Killinger rotated a bit too far around to the outside, and as they did try to take control of this edge building, like I said, they're trying to get this. It's a good, powerful position to have. They run into a bit of issues. Ooh, up the stairs comes 24 Gray. It's going to be a close quarters battle.
To my left.
That beautiful smoke to shut down Button UK's angle on 24 Gray. Yeah, again, continuing to show just how much map knowledge and experience these teams have. They know exactly what lines they need to shut down and when they need to be shut down.
Yeah, and the building is actually separated there. The one that Gray went in was not the one Don went in. So Don actually getting more information, too, that there's one here, communicating that to their team. If anything, Silent Purge are aware that there's at least one or two still here on Don Patron's side, and so information to use. Oh, and Don finds another as Gray commits to that far swing, trying to get rid of Don in the tower. They really want to gain control here of this building, and finally with Woods out, they can. Once they have control of that two-story, they can do so much damage. They can look down into the objective building, and it's the last thing that Silent Purge want.
Oh, that grenade just getting caught on the roof. The other one as well. Either are going to be very effective. Now it's a matter of which side do you approach from. 60 seconds left on the clock. Doesn't leave a whole lot of room for Smoils to do this heavy rotation that he seems to be attempting.
They're aware of the time, though. Smoils checks the clock.
Oh.
Button finds Lonwick. trying to maneuver through the center. And Smoils nearly catches Malno on the rotation. Those shots don't connect, and Icy Woods continues their push forward. Shots ring out there, but this tight defense for Silent Purge seems to be the way to go, as Woods is going to run right into Hoochie's line of fire. That option not viable. Woods and Smoils, the final two. With 30 seconds left, they have to push into these 4 that are defending.
Oh, here comes the final attempt. Utility coming out. Icy Woods making the push. Manages to pick up one, but both are shut down. A solid defensive hold inside the tank depot. Silent Purge taking map number 2, 4-1.
You can hear the celebrations from them. They have just secured themselves the start of a fantastic Season 12, locking in 2 maps against beginners. Your former reigning champs. It is impressive to see come through from this squad, and we're not done yet. For those that aren't familiar with the format, we always play out the 3rd map. The rounds won do matter. At the end of the day, it determines how much you go up and down in rank. And so Silent Purge are still going to be very thirsty for a map 3 win here. They're definitely going to want to take all 3 away from this beginner's squad. And geez, Sky, I mean, what a great show from Silent Purge here today. They clearly were honed in and locked in for the series.
You know, it's a close call, but I'm going to have to say Silent Purge's show is just a tad bit better than mine. You know, the way I'm speaking through my eyes, it's pretty good, but I have to give it to Silent Purge.
Yeah.
What a wonderful play.
Yeah, really good job in this series. And again, we have that 3rd map to get played out. Silent Purge get to choose it as well. And so we will wait to see where we're headed for map number 3. I am kind of curious what the play will be from Silent Purge. They've just took a Quarantine-esque map. Maybe moving to something like Quarantine will be a decent space. I don't know what the plan is. It seems like we could be headed to another custom map, and with Snow Peak and Cargo out, it does leave Shipyard and Sand available. And so maybe we're headed to Shipyard for map number 3, if I had to guess. Sky, I don't know. Where do you think we're going for this 3rd map?
Yeah. So if I recall correctly, Shipyard was one of the maps that was played last we casted them, and Silent Purge won on it. I'm going to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. And it's a matter of, do they go to a map that they know they were strong on, or do they go to a map that they want to practice on, which might be Sand?
It seems like they're going to go to one they feel comfortable on. Shipyard is looking like where we are headed for map number 3. And like I said, Silent Purge, they want to kick off Season 12 the best they possibly can. And there's literally no better way than if you can secure 3 maps from beginners. There just isn't a better start to their season. Beginners are at the top of the EU ladder, and it would just put Silent Purge in such a great spot to be that potentially #1 team in EU. Of course, there's plenty of competition there. You got the likes of Vikings over there, Boss Fight all still active. Boss Fight actually playing a matchup right now, I think against Vikings. I could be wrong on that. I think that's the matchup, but either way, the EU scene seemingly in for a bit of a shakeup here, as Silent Purge have come out with a great series win and are on track to take 3 maps. We'll see if they can do it, of course. Not an easy task against beginners. And yeah, I almost wonder what beginners are going to bring to the table here. We saw some, new strats come in on USS Quest. Are we going to see them try some new stuff here on Shipyard as well? Backs against the wall, so to speak. They definitely want to get a map on the board here, and suppose we'll have to wait and see. Looking at the rosters, no subs coming in from beginners. They're going to stick with Gray. They did well last series, had a bunch of kills there, set them up for a near cap attempt. And Silent Purge, waiting for their 5th. Maybe we'll see a sub from Silent Purge come in, or maybe it's just a bit of connection time. Either way, map 3 will be coming at us in just a few moments, so don't go anywhere. And while we're chilling here, I suppose we can give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors. For those unaware of how VRML operates, we have a several month regular season where teams compete to get up into the top 8 on the ranked ladder. We then take the top 8 teams and face them off in a tournament where they ultimately compete for a chance at a ever-growing prize pool, one that we have initially announced as 5,000 USD in cash coming from ProTube and VRML. That has since grown, and I would expect an announcement on the increase in the prize pool some point next week, as HyperX also confirming as a sponsor for Season 12, and a new addition, Border Foods. They are the one of the largest Taco Bell franchises in the Midwest. They are a fantastic company that offers fair working wages, scholarship opportunities. If you're looking for a first job or any job, it is a good place to go check out. You can learn more about the Border Foods partnership by going to borderfoods.com/VRML. If you're in Twitch chat, you can do !Border Foods for the link and see what that is and what that partnership's all about. It is a great first step for the VRML as we do branch outside of VR-specific sponsorships, and hopefully it'll be the first of many as we continue to grow the VR esports scene and continue to drive interest in the space. So shout out to everyone tuning in and hanging out. A shout out to all of the players in the league. We appreciate all of you and happy to provide good quality esports action just like this in particular. I mean, geez, what a series so far this has been, Sky. Not what I expected coming in. I definitely would have anticipated beginners to be beginners and at the very least have a map under their belts by now, but we are looking at a potential sweep as we get into the action, Sky, for map number 3.
100% here, and a little bit of a revision. Actually, Shipyard was one of the maps, but beginners actually beat them last time 4-1. So interesting to come here. Maybe Silent Purge wants to prove themselves on this map, having lost it the last time.
Yep. Either that or they've done their research and are ready to bring out some strats that are going to throw off the likes of this beginners team. Silent Purge definitely playing this aggressive. Look at how quick Hoochie has advanced up to this security building.
Following along here as the entire offense are taking up some pretty early spots here. The defense of beginners staying meta, staying pretty tight on the objective.
Yeah.
Looking for the weak points as Hoochie manages to catch Killinger prone down there. On a quick peek, a nice flashbang, not quite gonna catch Hoochie.
Oh,
saved by the corner.
Wow. Woods was trying to get it into the doorway there, but just barely misses. That would have been certainly the death of Hoochie. But it does not connect. Smoyle's even looking for a little bit of the action as they take an angle up, and Hoochie's going to swing out. Smoyles is there, the trade between the two. 1 for 2 there for Hoochie on the end, so definitely a net positive on their push out as the rest of Silent Purge now have to work with this advantage. And there it goes. A nice C4 cuts down 1. Pause. Doesn't have time to rotate out and get the confirm, do they? No, they're just rotating under the ramp. Are they going to push up? Yes, they are. They are going to push up the ramp.
Here? Oh. Just barely cycles around. Nice flashbang, and Mal no manages to complement that with some bullets.
Down below the bridge.
Mal no going very tactical with a grenade launcher and suppressor.
And Gray taking shots there. They are definitely in a position where they have to rotate quick to get back to this objective. The push is coming in here from Silent Purge, and that rotation gets caught out by Don Patron. Woods, the lone defender in a 1v4 as beginners get slowly picked apart from a solid push from Silent Purge, finding the picks they need one by one. And I wonder what the push route is going to be. Woods definitely has the right angle here. Ultimately, the only angle they need to hold as they have to cross Icy Woods' line of sight.
Yeah, the only way around Icy Woods is to get on the ship and hop
like
off
that.
the back, or run straight through as Don Patron does, but Mal no picks him up as he runs out to die. to prevent the cap.
Wow. Silent Purge coming out here with a performance in this series. To be able to do this to beginners is impressive now, as they do get the lead on Shipyard. Right out the gates, riding a lot of momentum. Again, the series locked in now.
Yeah, coming out the gate with that Marsoc round is very
huge.
powerful. Beginners gonna have to reevaluate their mental state a little bit and really lock it down.
Shout out to everyone that is hanging out here. I see some great conversations going on in Twitch chat, YouTube, Facebook. We appreciate all of you stopping by. Also, shout out to everyone in Horizon venues if you are hanging out there. Much appreciated. If you don't know what that is, Horizon Venues is an app you can download now on your Quest or Quest 2, and you can watch these games on a movie theater-sized screen with other people in VR. It's a really cool way to socialize and enjoy the games. If you do want to check it out, you want to go look up Horizon Venues in your Oculus Quest library. Only works for the Quest and Quest 2, not currently supported for PC. Hopefully that does happen, but I haven't heard anything yet. Once I do, I'll relay the info. But either way, go check it out if you can. It is a really cool app that we love to support and provide games to. That's enough of my spiel as we get back into the action. Silent Purge up 1-0, now going on defense to try and really run away with the series.
You're like the team's pit bull.
I took some protein.
Always fun to listen to the in-spawn chatter.
Yeah, and Silent, I mean, they're happy. Silent Purge joking around, laughing, still focused, but obviously pretty pleased locking in the series. You heard the cheers at the end of that last round. Now it's just, it's all, I guess, downhill from here, right? Even if they do lose, they still get that series win and go up in rank.
Killinger and Don Patron gonna end up facing off here on the ship. Moyles looking for the picks on the rooftop peak. Gonna be a matter of, does Kilo peek out and see Smoyles, and does Smoyles see Kilo, or do they both stay tucked in away from each other?
Yeah, this is one of the things I was talking about earlier too, with changes to these custom maps. This is one of them. The AC vent did not used to be this big. Smoyles has comfortable coverage here. Doesn't have to stay crouched down, and it definitely changes up the battles that you would have on these rooftops. Kilo doesn't have as great an angle from that roof, and so Smoyles just is a bit more comfortable up here as they try and figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to suss out who is where. Icy Woods decides to commit to the peak, tries to catch Kilo's head, but can't connect with those shots, and Kilo's able to duck back down. We're going to pop over to the ship. Dawn's there. Danger close to Gray and Killinger.
Yeah, Dawn is surrounded by a pack of wolves here. Killinger, Gray, and even Pause. Does Dawn have any utility? He has a flash and a smoke.
Hoochie does
If
have
he
a
gets
line.
that airburst flash, it would be powerful.
Yeah, it really could be. I don't know if Dawn's looking to get aggressive, though. There's a good smoke from Killinger. That's huge because that denies Hoochie that immediate corner vision, and now they've fully smoked out the ramp, so Gray can cross without Hoochie connecting any shots there. Killinger also makes it. Oh, no, they don't.
So close. Kilo picking up Smoyles on that rooftop with a peek from the other side. And 24 shut down, thinking he could get across. Despite Icy Woods putting pressure right under Hoochie, he stays strong on his angle.
Nice shots there coming through from, I mean, the entirety of Silent Purge, really. Tons of kills coming in across the map. Button gets rid of Woods. Pause. In a 1v1 battle as he does push forward. Malno's caught in a bit of an awkward position there. Dawn able to do a little bit of damage over the backside and a trade up through the center. Silent Purge lock in round 2. with a commanding defensive performance. I mean, really utilizing the changes in the environment well. One thing that's changed a lot, Sky, is this building. There's just so many new bits of cover and holes in the wall, gaps in the fence, gaps in the windows. It's really a new space, in my opinion. Although it is a lot of ways what it used to be. It's just it offers so much more. And Hoochie's position was one that we saw even before updates to the map. So not necessarily an uncommon one, but just really successful as they found the pick through the smoke and then to shut down Gray's swing on the edge. Big kills there. Kilo obviously doing well on the roof. Just again, great shooting coming in from Silent Purge to find these picks, and beginners usually are the ones that get those kills early. It's not the other way around, and Silent Purge, maybe giving a little bit of beginners a taste of their own medicine at this point, but up 2-0. A lot of momentum going on. This next objective, definitely one that is hard to cap.
Being right there on the ship. You know, it looks easy.
Yeah.
Because of how tight everything is.
Mm-hmm.
But getting in there is so tough and weeding people out. See how aggressive they get on the ramp. Plenty of utility. Kilo picking up one. Hoochie with the confirm. Kilo picking up another.
And they just invested in charging to the other side. Killinger expected maybe a quick push here. As they drop down the ramp, they find Don. Beginners getting aggressive here. Kilo has to be cautious of their flank, and they are not. Another kill for Killinger. They continue to wreak havoc here. Malno comes flying out the back. They finally shut down Killinger. Nearly a team kill there, but after all of the chaos, Gray is the only one left alive in a 1v3. So many kills going down on that opposite end. Wow, what an aggressive rollout from beginners that just does not pay off, and now Silent Purge has all the time in the world to set up for their attack, try and encroach around this objective.
Hoochie is definitely the wild card. There's no way Gray is aware that somebody would have gone all the way to their spawn, basically. Might catch the back of 24 running around.
Yeah, and I almost think that's what Gray would prefer at this point, right? They don't want to allow the cap in. If they instead get picked off on these rotations, that's a better result than letting someone sneak through. And I don't even think Silent Purge are trying to sneak through. You see the nades come in. Hoochie's looking for the kills. They just want the round, and they get it. Another Marsoc round into the pockets of Silent Purge. They are on track for a series sweep at the start of Season 12 against beginners.
Wow. Something nobody predicted, going back and looking at what the predictions were. Oh, man. So if we're looking at
got it here as well.
The votes.
Best matches 56 to 2.
Oh man, we're gonna have two very happy connoisseurs.
Man, and 56 unhappy ones. I mean, wow, what a turnout that seems to be unexpected.
What a nail-biter.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, geez. And again, and we said it, you know, I didn't anticipate such a strong performance from Silent Purge, but it's clear that they either did their homework over the course of the off season and kept practicing, or have just come into Season 12 locked in and focused, because they are looking great. The teamwork's on point. They're finding good picks. They're executing on plays, shutting down aggressive attacks that would normally overwhelm teams entirely, and are now looking at a potential 4-0 on map 3. You can hear the speech here coming in from Hoochie and the squad of Silent Purge to focus up and take this map.
No, I'm taking mid first floor.
Okay, I'm gonna hop up here and then drop down in the center between the crates.
All the the trade of 4th of July bangs coming out here. Don Patron shutting down Killinger, but 24 Gray with an immediate refrag.
They go
Actually,
down
I think
two,
that was
though.
a trade.
Yeah, so now there's only 3 to beginners. The 1v2, the 1 for 2, definitely worth that aggressive investment. And yeah, beginners just getting cold down to a fraction of their squad size. As I say that, another trade up through the center, and it is now all up to Paws and Woods in a 2v3, not undoable. And so they just have to recollect here and try and put together some sort of duo strategy to attack the objective.
What's the approach? I mean, you got to expect heavy defense on the ship. So do you risk going in the tight quarters, or do you try for the long angles down in the south side, but risk getting peeked on by the roof?
Yeah, nobody's in here.
Alright, I want to try and get round to the north.
Little in-game communication between the two of them.
Yeah, just trying to sync up, trying to figure out what happened, where the attack came from, where the potential threats could be now. And that's what Woods is looking for, trying to poke and prod up here on the roof, see if anyone's up there, see if anyone's on the stairs, and not finding much of anything.
Yeah, they really have to take in a process of elimination here. Check a spot, clear it, check a spot, clear it, because they really don't have any information. All the trades, all the quick deaths, not much.
You can kind of anticipate certain positions, though. Malno's spot is definitely not out of the ordinary.
I am. Just hold there. I'm going to try and get
And if
in
anything, I think Woods is trying to swing around here to potentially get an angle onto that position. And Woods really has to be ready for it. If they try and swing out here, Malno did have a line, and the timing. Classic stuff. Woods gets in.
Roger, 1 on objective on the boat.
Rotating around the back end here. I see Woods notorious for getting some crazy angles and checking crazy angles. So he's not out of the ballpark yet.
Oh, speaking of, there's a nice one through the window, yeah.
Wow. The knowledge that takes to understand how he can wrap around and catch a peek like that.
Very nice check there. A big pickup at that as it evens the odds 2-2, and beginners not letting this map 3 go just yet. They at least want to get one on the board, and Woods communicating with Paws to try and set up for the pinch. Paws in the meanwhile on the other side of objective. Button still holding true. Malno still holding through the center. Paws working their way up to the roof, and they got a lot of time. 2 minutes left.
Yeah, Paws going to go for the high roof. Again, all these peaks absolutely necessary to gain information and catch any defenders rotating around. I see Woods manages to catch Button as he makes that circle. Now Malno has so many things to check, and they are pinching on high angles. It's going to be tough.
He's underneath the platform.
Goodness, Malno.
And, if you come out down them
There
stairs,
with a bit of free fire. Woods can't quite connect.
Malno's playing dead.
No,
oh no, he disconnected. Oh man, beginners taking that point.
Yep. And if anything, a shout out to the dev team. That disconnect did not result in 2 points. It only got 1. It's kind of cool.
Oh, that is really nice. I gotta wonder if maybe in reaction to getting shot at, he bumped a cable or something as he dived.
Oh, sure. As they dive back into. Yeah, that very well could have happened. Something definitely happened with the headset. They completely disconnected. That's kind of what happens when your body ends up going like that when you DC. And so something happened there, Sky. That's for dang sure. Hopefully Silent Purge get their 5th back in. But either way, beginners do end up taking that round. It counts as basically being killed, which seemed to be their fate soon enough. And so at least beginners prevent that 3-0 from coming through. Get 1 on the board. They've gotten at least 1 point on the board every round so far. And so we'll see now if Silent Purge can turn it back on, keep momentum rolling, get another Marsoc round, or if beginners are going to be able to claw back a little bit here on Shipyard in map 3. I certainly would expect, again, beginners to not make this easy for map 3. They want to have a good start to season 12 as well, and so
Definitely a lot to learn for both teams, but beginners have some homework to go over at least to see what exactly they could have done differently.
and
I think we're still waiting on that fifth.
yeah, thank you so much all for patiently waiting with us. Didn't want to cut to an intermission as I don't think it's a tech timeout, and the 5th has reconnected, so we will be back into the action shortly. Could be the end of the series too with this next round, so we don't want to lose that energy just yet. But I guess happy Halloween to everyone. It is certainly that day. I'm all dressed up, enjoying the festivities. You got to get the full vest in here. And you know, some people may think that I'm just dressed up and that this vest is not practical, but let me tell you something, Sky. It is a tactical casting vest. Inside here, this pocket, I've got cough drops in the case that I need to break out a fresh mint. We can dip into that pocket for the cough drops. And for between rounds, when I need a nice healthy break, I've got a power bar stored right here on my vest. So I've got everything I need for casting right here. Maybe if I could figure out, oh, I need a camelback with tea and honey in it. And then that would be everything I need on my tactical kit. Obviously, I also have the Pro Tube, one of my favorite sponsors, one of our longest and oldest sponsors for Onward. This Pro Tube is about as old as our sponsorship with them. I think this was made in, I think it says right here, it's engraved on it, 2018. So, yeah, I got a little history right here around the neck. But enough stalling, Sky. We're back into the action. Everyone's ready. Silent Purge looking to take away what could be map 3 if they can lock in a offensive round.
Speak for yourself. I don't stall. Everything I say is quality and important and has to be said at all times. As the shots ring out, but Kilo comes out on top. Uchi with the shutting down Smoils. The early aggressive defense immediately getting turned down as Silent Purge yet again pushes the south side.
Oh no,
but an
kill.
unfortunate TK.
Not what you like to see, but it does happen. It has happened on the likes of beginners' sides, and a rotation from Gray gets caught out by Button. Again, this aggressive rollout from Silent Purge seems to have caught beginners off on their rotations. Killinger goes down in a flank, and now it's all up to Icy Woods against 4 attackers. They have to really swing around this objective, and Hoochie is in a space where they very well could take this out. Oh, but actually the cross gets a kill for Woods. Maybe Woods can clutch this 1v3.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Both teams did a very similar play. Killinger on the same flank as before. Very similar early lines. But Silent Purge was just ready for that beginner's outreach.
Yeah, they really read that whole defensive plan well, and I like to see beginners trying new things, but ultimately does not work for them, and I can't say that just yet. Woods still left alive here on objective, going to be able to shut down any cap attempts, and Silent Purge aren't quite synced up here. Kilo's a bit far forward in comparison to Don and Button.
Button making the call-outs, confirming their kill count 3 or 4. So I wonder if Silent Purge is thinking cap for the 5, just for the extra kick, or do they just go for the kill? They know they're in a 3v2 at the very least, but are pretty confident on a 3v1.
Hilo checking
Oh.
if Don was an enemy or not, and Don flies around the corner to catch Woods under the ramp. Silent Purge lock in 3 maps against beginners, Sky. I think we're seeing a shift in the old guard, so to speak, and this is definitely an indicator of it, to me at least. A solid and commanding performance from Silent Purge here today to get them this 12-4 victory against beginners. This is 12 seasons of this beginners team playing in this league, and the first time I have ever seen them start a season with a loss. So hats off to Silent Purge, and oh man, Sky, I don't know what this season is going to bring us. It's got me thinking. It's got me curious about the future of Onward and what kind of teams are going to come out on top this season. Season 12 is going to be so fun to watch, and it really already has been. Great games to tune into over on twitch.tv/onward_VRML, but also our weekend matchups here. Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST, Sundays at 12, live at twitch.tv/VR Master League, Facebook, YouTube, and Horizon venues. Be sure to put these down in your calendar. They'll be happening every weekend. And any final thoughts from you, Sky, off of what was a surprising series?
100%. Very, very unexpected. It's always been interesting since I started back in season 10 to come into this culture that was Onward VRML and see that there's these very solidified teams, these very solidified players. It's been nearly unchanging for, 9 seasons. And then this season 10 hits, and there's just this wildfire changes, this whirlpool of just constant shifting, and to now be in season 12 and watch as it continues.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to watch.
Pretty cool, pretty dang fun, and I encourage all of you to follow so that you can follow along with the action over the course of the regular season. Like I said, more games to come next week, so be sure to tune in next weekend and obviously next week over at twitch.tv/onward_VRML. But with that, we will be signing off here for our venues showcase. My name has been Nightfire with 2 E's. My co-caster, the Sky Joker. We appreciate all of you tuning in and hanging out with us today, and we will catch you all next week. Until then, stay classy.